A beautiful topic that you've chosen for us today, and one we cover in our online and telephone counselling course, and that is the right tech for online working, Rory.
Absolutely, Ken. And I noticed over the last few months, certainly in our Facebook group, and if you want to go to our Facebook group, it's Facebook, type in Counselling Tutor, and lots of people showing their counselling rooms off. Beautiful chairs, lovely pictures on the wall, great decoration, nice lamps, all that type of thing. And I sat and thought, beautiful, lovely, fantastic. And then I thought, I wonder if people put the same amount of care into their tech for online work. And I think that if you're working online, we should put as much effort into considering our online room, if you like, as we would if we were working face to face. Because when clients meet us, the technology we use to meet, whether it be on the phone or whether it be via a video platform, should have the same care and consideration as if a client met us in our therapy rooms, Ken.
Yeah, 100%, because those first impressions last. And when we are appearing online, the frame that we sit in, that's all that the client sees. That's the only reference they have of you. They can maybe see the upper part of your body and they can see what's in your background, but they're going to make a decision on that. We spend so much time thinking about what kind of an impact and what kind of a first impression our counseling room may create for a client. And do we consider that online, or are we just in a corner, maybe with a blurred background, using maybe the onboard laptop microphone and camera? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I am saying, have you considered what that looks like and feels like for a client? What is most important if you're working online? And I'm going to take video as an example here. What is most important is the same thing that would be important to you if you were sitting across from that person in a room. Can they see me? Can they see that I'm engaged? Can they see the facial expressions and the nuance within my being? Am I able to demonstrate my active listening? Can the person hear me? Can they hear me clearly? Can they hear the nuance? So if I speak soft, or if I take a breath, do they hear that? Or does that get lost because the microphone maybe is not there and good enough to pick that up? Because I think that would be a shame, because it's all part of who we are and how we show up for therapy. So I think it takes a little bit of consideration. And in the same way as you might invest some money in your room and go and buy a nice chair, we maybe should consider, have we put that same kind of investment into our online practice? Because that's what it is. When you're online, that frame they see, that is your online practice. That is how you are holding that client. That's how you're welcoming them. That's how you are interacting with them, Rory.
Absolutely. And I think from a first perspective of technology, I think the first thing to consider is what connects us. And what connects us is usually, certainly when you're working with clients, is either the phone signal or the internet signal. I think it's really important to have reliable internet or telephone connection. I think we've all been in situations, certainly in online meetings, where someone's frozen or you can't hear somebody, and it can be really frustrating. We make sure that no one else is using it. So, like a lot of people, my grandchildren watch online cartoons. So if I'm using the internet, nobody else uses the internet. I'm afraid no cartoons for my grandchildren when I'm working, because it takes up part of the internet connection and can slow down the connection. And I think if you start from those, it's basically like your therapy room. It's the actual structure of your therapy room. The connection and the connection speed is just literally like the building, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah, and it does go down because it is technology and it is fallible. We cover all of this in our online and telephone counselling course, and what you might do and what you might have in place if technology fails. And you said, Rory, you can't 100% stop that from happening. However, you can mitigate. And this is what's important. We control the controllables. You don't necessarily need to put a whole lot of money into your infrastructure and connection, but you can do simple things. Like if you have a router, don't use wireless. take a cord and connect it to your router so you've got the strongest possible connection that you can have for the connection that you have available. However, I wouldn't meet with the client with a massive microphone between me and them. I would wonder what message that might put over. Would that be a blockage between me and them? And there are other ways to make sure that you get good sound without having a massive podcasting microphone in front of your mouth when you're speaking to a client. So just a good quality mic, either on board on your laptop or your computer, or you can buy little accessories that you can clip in that really do make a great difference to the sound, but they're not seen. They sit out of the shot. So it's certainly what I might use if I was to step back into practice. And I think the same is true for headphones. There are different kinds of headphones, but with headphones, they can send a message, a reassuring message. If I was wearing headphones that was covering over both of my ears, it may say to that client, this is confidential. You are only in my ear. I may even say, I wear these headphones so that I can hear you clearly. I can hear the nuance in your voice, and that everything that you say is confidential because it goes directly to my ears. We have so much fun in our online and telephone counselling course because part of the course is peer working, where you're going to meet up with a peer and you're going to say, hey, how does my sound? How do I look? How does my frame look? Is my eye at your eye level? These are all basic things that we don't think about when we're in a face-to-face setting, but they certainly play out when we are working online. You want your eye level to align with your client's eye level. It's very easy to lose eye contact when you're working online. And we've been taught that in society, if somebody doesn't hold eye contact with us, maybe they're not interested. Maybe they're looking at something else or thinking something else. And we don't want to be projecting that message to our clients. We want to be saying, I am here, I'm listening to you. But at the same time, I guess we don't want to be looking like we're frozen and staring them right in the eyes. So knowing how to use your camera effectively, I think, is important. I'm going to give you one of the little tips that is in our online telephone counseling course for using your camera. If you're using something on your laptop or on a tablet, a really good idea is to take a little sticker, stick it right next to where your camera is so you don't have to look for it. That's a little bit on cameras. You want to be thinking about the headphones that best suit you. I think that if I was working online and my headphones were hidden, in the first session, I would be saying that I was using headphones. I would show them to the client and I would say why I was using them. And again, I would be linking that into confidentiality. The last thing I want is to be in a room in my home with sound coming out of the speakers of my PC or my system that I'm using that may be able to be overheard outside of the room. I don't want that. The client doesn't want that. And I don't want them thinking that, or even it being a consideration for them. So for that reason, headphones, telling them why the headphones are there and why they're used, I think is reassuring, and it shows that you are holding that confidentiality. What is also important is what is your background? What does that look like? And I know that there is a great tendency to use a blurred background now, or a virtual background. We're talking about being genuine, being authentic. And I don't know, for me, I just think using a background that is very obviously a virtual fake background that is trying to be something, a beach with palm trees, northern lights, anything like that, could be distracting. Your background doesn't have to be massive, doesn't have to be super fancy. You can be in the corner of a room, and I think at the very most maybe blur the background. But my own personal feelings is to keep away from the obvious fake palm trees and a beach.
I agree, Ken. One of the things that I don't think we discuss enough in therapy is the fact that clients come to the same room. You know, there's something about consistency. Therapists should be consistent. And I also think the environment they practice in should be consistent.
100%. The same applies for your client as well. You meet up with the client, it is really good practice to speak with them in your introductory session before you start getting into the work that you're going to be doing together. about their background too. And the reason I say that is that client may turn up, they're there for their therapy, they're engaging in the therapy, and then they suddenly see themselves. And then they suddenly see their background and think, oh, I should have put that washing away. And they're no longer engaged with you in that session. So we would speak with our client in that very first introductory session about their confidentiality, about their safe place, about their headphones that they may use so that your voice is in their ears only as well.
Yeah, I think that working online is a little bit like starting again, really. So I would say that if you are venturing into the online world, take some time just to test out your setup with peers before you go live with clients. Get some feedback, get some peer review. I think that with online working, it's brought great opportunities, but I think that we need to put as much effort into our online presence through technology or our backgrounds or our cameras or our lighting as we would in those lovely therapy rooms.
Thank you, Rory. Great topic.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video valuable. For more free resources, have a look at our YouTube channel or visit counsellingtutor.com